Tonight on News 5 Live, Karim Musa says the former Attorney General knew of the definitive agreement and attempted to hide from it. A request Senate inquiry into the definitive agreement will be tabled at the next Senate meeting. Oceana delivers over 20,000 signatures to trigger a referendum to strengthen moratorium on offshore drilling. And tonight on Belize Unreal, Reverend Otto Wade remembers the devastation that was Hurricane Hattie. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Whether you're in a bustling urban area or a tranquil rural community, connectivity matters. Internet access is key to continued socioeconomic development. That is why Digi, our national telecom, has and will continue to invest millions of dollars to expand its mobile and fiber networks throughout Belize. Thousands of mobile users and households, especially along the highways and in rural communities, are now enjoying the benefits of Digi's resilient infrastructure. Our national telecom will continue to lead the charge towards digital transformation by utilizing cutting-edge technology and maintaining an unwavering dedication to excellence. With our DigiWallet solution, Belizeans in urban and rural areas now have easy and safe access to a wide array of financial services via their mobile devices. And with the recent launch of DigiTV, Digi has made history, becoming the only quad play service provider in Belize. Now, customers can save with our DigiOne bundles that offer home internet, mobile, home phone, and DigiTV services all in one place. Digi is committed to providing all communities with access to high-quality, reliable, and affordable services while unlocking untapped potential and opening the doors to a brighter future for all. Be a part of the transformation and experience connectivity like never before. Because with Digi, connectivity matters.
Hats off to awesome grads and capes on for super dads. Enjoy stunning deals, giveaways, and savings from Cellular World for the dads and grads. Get up to 50% off the Samsung A04e or TCL A30 phones when you buy select phone models. Or 50% off the JBL Bluetooth Kids headphones when you buy any tablet. Select purchases comes with free surge protectors, gaming controllers, and wireless chargers. Wow, Dad! And celebrate that grad without breaking the bank. Shop at any of our 5 locations in Belize City, Belmopan, or San Pedro, or via our virtual store on Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp at 615-5141. Celebrate Dad and cheer on the grad with an amazing gift from Cellular World.
Who's got what it takes to crush the competition? Find out on June 24th at the Belize City Civic Center as the Belize Boxing Development Council presents historic championship bout, the triumph, the upsets, and the determination. Brace yourself for a storm. Jessica Tankesita Basulto and Abril Tsunami Sanchez collide, sending shockwaves through the strawweight division. And the highly anticipated main event, Eduardo El Mecanico Esquivel representing the Jewel and Roberto Torito Rodriguez from Mexico square off in a prestigious WBC Feckerbach Featherweight Silver Championship. Tickets now available. General admission tickets start at $25, VIP package $100, and ringside seats for $150. Unleash the power.
Belize's favorite Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV The Remix Season 5 kicks off with the audition show on Tuesday, June 27th at 8 p.m. Tune in to see who will be your next favorite contestant. Then join us on Tuesday, July 4th at 8 p.m. when KTV The Remix goes live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Come on out and win fabulous prizes and get a chance to compete in our KTV challenges. KTV The Remix Season 5 is gonna be fun, entertaining, and it's only on 5.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, June 22nd. I am Annalyn Apollonia. A Senate inquiry into the circumstances surrounding the signing of the definitive agreement between the government of Belize and Portico has been requested by 3 parliamentarians in the upper house. Together, they represent civil society. Confirmation of such an exercise is yet to be made. However, there is much talk about a formal investigation into the goings-on involving the controversial document. Earlier today, the media caught up with Cabinet Minister Karim Musa at an event in Belmopan. During that interview, he was asked about the underhanded agreement as well as the former Attorney General's apparent knowledge that the document was in circulation. According to the Minister of Home Affairs, the former AG knew of the existence of the definitive agreement.
A lot of this inquiry, as you would imagine, has to do with when this document was signed. Who signed it?
Erwin Contreras.
The United Democratic Party. No, don't say Erwin, because you're falling into their narrative.
Sorry.
Then you have an Attorney General now. Listen to this. I saw him on the news night before last.
It's on every night, I think.
Every night.
Or the Vijay is responsible.
And imagine this, and it actually got past a lot of you, saying, I was aware of this definitive agreement. Whatever no you sign. Listen,
he was aware it was floating around.
Aware it was floating around. It was almost like he was playing hot potato and hiding from it. Man, you were the Attorney General. You have a fiduciary duty to this country to make sure that if there's a fraudulent document floating around, it will not affect the Belizean people in the millions of dollars in damages. So that was reckless on his part. That was a dereliction of duty by the former Attorney General to say, I know about it, but I don't want to see it. I hide from it. What kind of nonsense that? You were the Attorney General, you know, so a liar. And I guess who drafted the thing? Morales. And who?
Perifit.
What's the name of the law firm? Say
That's the name of the
Morales and Perifit. And when was that partnership severed?
Post-election, I have no
beautiful.
idea.
After the signing of
Mike says he relinquished his shares.
After the signing of the Portico agreement.
This afternoon, the media spoke with NGO Senator Janelle Chanona, who confirmed that the Social Partner Senators jointly presented a paper to the President of the Senate requesting an inquiry on the definitive agreement. Senator Chanona confirmed that the motion will be tabled at the next meeting of the upper chamber. While she chose not to comment on the document itself, she spoke of the importance of the inquiry.
Collectively, in early June, the social partners met and we jointly discussed this matter and drafted jointly the motion. We put it to the President and the Clerk. We have been informed that the motion will be on the order papers for the next Senate meeting, and we hope to get the necessary votes for that to happen. We felt it was important to do that as our own. We shared it simultaneously with both sides of the aisle, and we will see how the motion is debated.
What was your reaction when you first saw the definitive agreement?
I will reserve comments specific to the agreement because we are asking for an inquiry. I do want to underscore personally my position that I don't want this to be perceived as anything but an inquiry at this time. This is not there are no predetermined conclusions before, but we think that enough is out there that it should be fully ventilated so that everybody is armed or aware with what is at play. And I will leave it there.
Will the inquiry maybe see calling to the witness stand, quote unquote, Mr. Contreras, Mr. Prime Minister, the former AG?
The only thing I will say is that as a senator, I am very aware of the core functions of the Senate being to conduct inquiries, to bring whomever is able to provide information to the inquiry panel to make sure that they have the information needed to draw a report, and I will leave it there.
He was not at the sitting of the House of Representatives last Friday, but Fort George Area Rep. Kareem Musa's name did come up at the start of the meeting. Leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, in a fiery exchange with Pickstock Area Representative Anthony Mahler, alluded to Musa having been assaulted by his cabinet colleague. The outburst caused the Speaker of the House to call a recess. But what was on everyone's mind was whether or not Mahler did, quote unquote, punch Musa. Today, the media got answers from the Minister of Home Affairs.
It seems like the guy has an unhealthy fascination with me, an obsession almost. I don't know how it is that he is the only person on planet Earth that heard Kareem Musa got punched. Where did he invent this from? He's making Andre Gray look like Lee Boyman in terms of the stories that he's inventing. So again, another invention, but certainly another insight, another window into who the leader of the opposition is, and Belize has nothing good to look forward to with him.
On Wednesday, attorney Richard Dickey Bradley provided an update on an ammunition case involving accused murderer Corporal Elmer Nah. The incarcerated policeman was charged along with his common-law wife and brother-in-law following the discovery of a cache of ammo inside a vehicle they were reportedly traveling in on the Southern Highway in November 2021. The bus coincided with the landing of a drug plane near Bladen Village on the night of November 5, 2021. The matter, which is before Senior Magistrate Baja Showman, has seen sworn statements being given by several witnesses, including a fellow lawman who testified that the wrongs in question had initially been placed in another vehicle, not the one in which Corporal Nah and his passengers were traveling. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams spoke of an investigation into the circumstance.
They did an investigation. There's nothing to indicate that Corporal Arnold did anything wrong. He went to court. He testified based on what he knew at the time, and that was it.
The police department doesn't wish to find out how the bullets went from the vehicle that he said he placed them in into Elmer Nah's vehicle.
Well, that's the matter before the court, and that's why we believe that Corporal Nah is guilty, because the bullets in which the vehicle was found, the vehicle in which the bullets were found is not the same vehicle that Arnold had left them in. So he would have had to move it from where it was to where they found it. So that is the crux of the prosecution case.
When asked about the turn of events regarding the ammunition case against Elmer Nah and the co-accused, Home Affairs Minister Kareem Musa told reporters that since the matter remains an issue before the court, he would not go into details of the case.
In terms of a legal proceeding, if that is still a live issue, that's not something that I can comment on. At the conclusion of either the disciplinary tribunal or the criminal case that is before the courts, I can comment at that stage, but it's not appropriate for me to do so at this point.
Why I ask is because the same police officer, Corporal Richard Arnold, went to court and told that story that the bullets were his, but the vehicle that he placed them in wasn't the vehicle that Mr. Nah was found in.
So, like I said, I don't know. You're probably at the case. I'm not sitting in the case, so I don't know what was said.
Is that concerning to you?
I don't know what was said. When the case has concluded, we will look at the evidence and we will look at the finding of the judge, and then we can comment at that stage. Because right now it would be premature for me to comment on what you are telling me something was said.
Coming up, Belize's recidivism rate down to 13%. The reason under review. Find out the details when we come back.
This no good for nothing.
Prime Minister, why all this scenery? Even as an empty and meaningless gesture, That's only what your cabinet and the entire nation has been saying for almost a month now. But what about the environmental approval that allows Portico to dredge just north of a protected area, or build an artificial peninsula right next to a manatee reserve, or dock Oasis-class cruise ships right in the middle of a manatee corridor? PM, you pushed to get the definitive agreement passed in the House. You went so far as to lie that the Port Authority had granted Portico a permit. Your cabinet paper urged ministers to support the legislation. PM, it's too late to pretend you were ever on the side of Belize and Belizeans. PUP for Portico, for the privileged, never for the people.
We will not be bullied.
Since 2010, Belizeans have said no to offshore oil in Belize. And we continue to say no.
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 No. No.
No.
No.
No.
Say no to offshore oil Belize.
No to offshore oil in Belize.
Say no to offshore oil Belize.
Mahatua non la tieho agule yara barana Belize.
Say no to offshore oil Belize.
No to seismic testing.
But someone keeps saying yes. Bring the power back to the people and ask Belize first.
The San Pedro Tiger Sharks are the three-time elite basketball champions. And now they're on a mission to win number 4.
They're playing basketball.
All around. Game 2 of the Best of 5 series tips off at the Belize Civic Center this Sunday afternoon at 3:30, where your three-time elite basketball champions, San Pedro Tiger Sharks, led by the dynamic Kyle Stewart, Francis 90 Arana, and Jihad Wright, going up against their nemesis, the Venice Belize Hurricane, led by Victor Evans, Clancy Coupe Lopez, and Chris Fraser, in a showdown where you never ever doubt the heart of a champion.
They all walk like a champion, talk like a champion.
Game 2 of the Best of 5 series is going to be an all-out war. Sharks is not backing, and this is a game you don't want to miss. Bring out the entire family this Sunday afternoon, June 25, at the Belize Civic Center, starting at 3:30 p.m. Tiger Sharks versus Hurricane.
Tell them what is Tiger Sharks with a confident win again.
Sponsors: Maya Island Air, Joseph and Taylor, Westrat, Tough Enough Tours, Panda Joyride Boat, and Sandy Points Limited.
The International Day of the Seafarer, celebrated yearly on June 25th, brings awareness to the important role of seafarers, who are at the heart of shipping and facilitating global trade. This year, we recognize seafarers for their invaluable contributions to the implementation of the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, MARPOL. Our oceans are worth protecting, and the Belize Port Authority, the designated Port State Control Authority with coastal state functions, ensures the compliance with MARPOL is an integral part of the regular inspection regime. In enforcing MARPOL, our Port State Control officers interact with seafarers to ensure the protection of the marine environment from pollution of oil, sewage, garbage, and GHG emissions emanating from ships. PSC ensures that the estimated 2 million seafarers are properly trained and qualified to implement MARPOL. For Belize, our oceans represent our livelihoods, and I want to thank all seafarers, national and international, for their critical role in protecting our sensitive marine environment. Happy International Day of the Seafarer.
The International Merchant Marine Registry of Belize, better known as IMARBE, is the country's leading maritime organization and declares its solemn support for the 2023 Day of the Seafarers campaign, which looks at the seafarers and their immeasurable contribution to protecting the marine environment. Seafarers spend a great deal of time at sea transporting the goods that move the world's economies and are a big part of the solution when it comes to protecting the marine environment, especially the world's ecologically important oceans. With the assistance of a competent team and our vast network of IACS-recognized organizations, IMARBE provides optimal surveying and monitoring schemes that certifies full compliance in prospects of mitigating instances of pollution on board Belize registered vessels. The IMO's main purpose for this day is to recognize the unique contributions made by seafarers from all over the world to the global international seaboard trade, the world economy, and civil society, but in a very environmentally friendly manner. Happy Day of the Seafarers 2023. Our oceans are worth protecting.
Greetings from the Department of Environment. Every year, the world celebrates the Day of the Seafarers to highlight the great contribution and commitment they provide towards marine protection. The theme of this year, MARPOL and Environment, is very suitable because MARPOL is the main international convention that protects the marine environment from ship-related pollution. The Department of Environment, the Belize Ports Authority, and other key agencies have maintained a very strong technical and professional relationship regarding the implementation of MARPOL in Belize. Together, we ensure that the blue space is used sustainably by shipping organizations, ship owners, companies, and all users of the blue space. Of all our partners, the seafarers are very important because of the highly important role they play with regards to marine protection. We therefore salute them on June 25th, the Day of the Seafarers.
Oceana Belize believes that Belizeans should decide whether the offshore oil moratorium should ever be lifted. And so last year, it led an initiative to get the voting population to sign a petition to trigger a referendum. Between November 2022 and today, the NGO was able to amass the signatures of over 22,000 registered voters who want to be consulted before the moratorium is ever lifted. Vice President Janelle Chanona says that in accordance with the Referendum Act, Oceana has exceeded the threshold of 10% to trigger a referendum.
We had and we remain dedicated towards strengthening the moratorium, and we had approached the current administration to look at how we can strengthen that existing protection. When we learned that there was some consideration and intention to do seismic to quote-unquote know what's out there. And we felt and continue to feel very strongly that the public deserves to be part of that decision-making process in terms of lifting the moratorium, because seismic would constitute exploration. And the current moratorium speaks to a suspension of all exploration or extraction activities. At the end of the day, what this reiterates, reminds, and truly respects is that Belizeans since 2010 have wanted to be part of the conversation on offshore oil, part of the decision. And I think it is increasingly a point that this is environmental justice. I think it's because the connection we have to our resources is so visceral. I mean, who are we if we are not second longest barrier reef in the world? Who are we if we can't go eat mango in a sea? Who are we if we can't go catch the fish and then eat at the same time? That is such a part of us. And we see that even when we move out of Belize, that is the associations that we connect to when we are away from home. And I think that is truly what's been the common line between 2010 and now, why this emotion is so high around this issue, because as I said, so many things fall off of the stove, back of the stove, get lost, replaced by the next scandal or the next big issue. But this issue, there has been persistence, resistance, perseverance. Belizeans really don't want to be left out of this conversation, because I think they fully grasp, or very many Belizeans fully grasp what that would mean and just how inherently dirty and dangerous it is. And I think it's so, as I said, that connectedness at a spiritual, at a soulful level, but also that realistic and very real interconnectedness in terms of our jobs, our way of life, you know, our food, our cultures. And I think increasingly it's not lost that environmental justice has and is now being perceived by so many as a human right.
Chanona says that over the past 6 months, they vetted, confirmed by phone calls, and even built in a rudimentary system to ensure that there is no arbitrary disqualification of the signatures. Earlier this month, we reported that the Ministry of Home Affairs had its eyes set on community advocate Dominique Norales as the replacement for William Dawson, who died earlier this year back in January. Well, this past Monday, Norales took up the post as the new chair of the Leadership Intervention Unit. Today, the media caught up with her at the police recruit passing out ceremony, and Norales spoke of her plans.
I know that Mr. Williams' passing was a shock for everyone, and so filling those shoes was a huge consideration for me. Beyond that, this is work I'm passionate about. I've been in this space in different positions for quite a while, as a youth advocate, as someone who worked at the Department of Youth, as someone who engaged with alternative violence programs myself as a person given where I grew up. And so for me, the decision was a difficult one because I knew how magnanimous the job was. But I think with the support system that I have, I will be able to do well.
Like you said, it's anything new?
Do anything new? Well, first we have to look at where we are. We're looking at the programs that are running. In fact, today we have the agricultural program. We have some of the young men out in the rural areas doing some agricultural work. But we're looking at where we are, and then I'll see how we can improve the efficiency of the programs, and then we move from there.
You said it's pretty big shoes, you're right. Mr. Dawson, what he could do was move around the streets completely fine. He could go between groups, he could navigate them, mediate them, all of that. How do you think you will be able to fill those shoes? Do you think you'll be able to pick up where he left off?
Well, Mr. Williams himself, though his shoes were big, he also wore many shoes. And so his position is split between several people now. I do policy and really administrating and managing the LIU. We have people dealing with mediation. We have fantastic police officers at the LIU that I saw in action for the first time this week during our mediation session. So we have people filling those gaps and doing well. My job here is to make it more efficient. My job here is to ensure that the beneficiaries get what they need to get and that we transition into a society that is safer for everyone. I think I bring significant experience to this space. I think I bring significant mentorship to this space because I know there are a lot of people that I will have to lean on for guidance and advice as well. But I'm confident that they are confident in me, and so we move with that.
You're not intimidated as a woman?
I am not intimidated at all. I'm not intimidated at all. In fact, it was a thought I had. Someone brought that question to me earlier, and I'm not intimidated at all. There are things, of course, social currency that I do not have simply because of my gender identity and my sexuality, but those are things we can work on, and those are things that I have a great cadre of people working with me to fill those gaps if I need to lean on them. But I'm sure they are confident in my leadership. I have been told this time and time again, and if we don't, then we are the people who teach people how to manage conflict, and so we are able to do that ourselves.
Norales holds a bachelor's degree in sociology and political science from the University of West Indies Cave Hill campus. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams was elected on Wednesday as the new president of the Commission of Chiefs and Directors of Police of Central America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Colombia. Compol Williams had been serving in an interim capacity prior to being elected as the first Belizean to hold a substantive post. The work of the Commission is to foster inter-regional and international cooperation with various security organizations and agencies. This morning, we also caught up with the head of the Belize Police Department in Belmopan.
Yesterday, we had the extraordinary meeting of the Central America Chiefs, Directors, and Commissioners of Police FIR. And during that meeting, we had the elections of president. Myself and the Director General from Honduras vied for the presidency, and I was victorious at the end. And so I am now the new president of that association.
That may be, a lot on your plate. How are you planning to deal with all of that, given that, this region, there's a lot going on?
Well, I am certain that I'll be able to deal with it. I am putting together a secretariat to work out of my office, and they are going to be coordinating with the Interpol Central American Bureau that's in El Salvador, as they are the ones who normally coordinate the efforts of the association. And so I don't see any difficulty in terms of being able to carry out the functions of the association as well as my function as Commissioner of Police.
Belize's recidivism rate is said to be down at 13%. That is the data coming from a study that has been done by Dr. Terence Aladdin, an associate professor at Lebanon Valley College in Annville, Pennsylvania. Today, Aladdin wrapped up a presentation on empathy and recidivism, measuring reincarceration at the Belize Central Prison. While the figure is encouraging, Aladdin believes that that percentage could be off and that there could be something that is not being detected in Belize's prison system. That's because even in the great United States and other developed countries with effective intervention programs, the repeat offenders list is long. News 5's Marion Ali stopped by the Belize Institute of Management, where a lecture with representatives from the prison, police, university, and other relevant departments was in full gear. Here's her report.
The rehabilitation program at the Belize Central Prison has been lauded for its efficacy in yielding a low number of repeat offenders. But that number was not determined before now. A 3-year study completed by Associate Professor at Lebanon Valley College, Dr. Terence Aladdin, reveals that the figure is as low as 13%. It's encouraging news for Director of the Belize Central Prison, Virgilio Murillo, who had a higher estimate.
All along I was of the feeling as the director of the prison that we were between 15 and 20%, but I didn't have the scientific data to prove what I was saying all along. It was just my feeling based on what I saw happening at the prison, based on who I saw coming back to the prison. So he gave me that estimation of 15 to 20%, but I was proven to be wrong. It's 13%.
This study is the result of a joint effort along with the prison and Galen University. Adjunct lecturer at Galen's Criminal Justice Program, Zain Duheni, told News 5 that the information is reliable and useful to the educational institution.
His information is very up to date. You have the partnership with the Belize Central Prison or the Kobe Foundation, which actually allowed that information to be very precise. So I would say currently he has probably some of the most up-to-date research that is out there on the topic. So I am saying that the hope now as a adjunct lecturer is that his report will be used in some of the discussions and the classes that I am teaching to make it relevant and that the students understand the problems that we're having in Belize.
But while 13% for a national report of Belize's repeat offenders is music to some people's ears, the man who conducted this study, Dr. Terence Aladdin, says there might be some hidden factors.
I have to be a bit careful because I'm only looking at 3 years, and those COVID numbers can make a difference in whether you can either make it higher or lower, and I don't know that. So what I plan to do, because this was originally a 3-year research, I plan to go for another 2 years because COVID affected the last 2 years. This is not concrete. I think the fact that we have a large remand population, that could also have an effect on the numbers. So, but again, I'm not sure as yet because I still need more data to make conclusive results.
Whether Belize's actual recidivism rate is higher or lower than 13%, one man who has changed his path in life says the change has to come from within. Lane Greenidge went from being a repeat offender to now being an employee at the prison as the facilities director of the Remand and Rehab Center.
My own background started about within a time span of 15 years, starting out as petty crimes, and then going up to more property offenses and then weaponry offenses. My criminal history consists of 4 remands and 1 conviction, with the conviction being this last circumstance. But through this conviction, it was what got me to really open my mind and my heart to change, because of not wanting to continue living that life of crime and prison as an inmate.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
After the break, 145 new police officers graduate from Training Academy. We'll tell you more on that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
What's up, guys? Saw Daddy here, back with some Father's Day awesomeness. So for all you wanna-be Saw Daddies, or you just wanna get a gift for Dad, Brothers A Bet has some mind-blowing deals on power tools and more. Spoil those super-handy dads with top-notch brands like Skill, Black & Decker, Stanley, DeWalt, Bosch, at a ridiculous 15% off all month long. Plus, with every gallon of Berger paint you buy, get your dad a chance to win $100 every week. And some lucky super handy dad will win $1,000. A big thank you to Brothers A Bet for sponsoring this video. Guys, go out there and get those tools because they're flying off the shelves. Happy Father's Day to all my super dads out there. Like, subscribe. Saw Daddy out.
Minister Cordell Hyde. The Watlis Portico project can only proceed if you as Minister of Lands grant permits for Mr. Geg and Mr. Gulab to use the seabed to create land for their artificial peninsula. In fact, Portico should never have received EIA clearance without these permits. Tell us, Minister, have you already granted these permits for Mr. Geg and Mr. Gulab to build their monstrous artificial peninsula endangering the manatees? Minister Hyde, will you grant these permits? Seriously, Minister, what real benefits will this bring to the South Side?
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
The Belize Tourism Board, Mars Production, and Belican present the biggest show to hit the jewel we call Belize. It's the Belize International Music and Food Festival 2.0. Join us on Saturday, July 29th and Sunday, July 30th at the Marion Jones Stadium with live performances by Morgan Heritage,
I'll be down by the river.
the dancehall queen Spice,
Me's a girl, me no fight over man.
Busy Signal,
Turn up for them stairs,
Afrobeat sensation Rotimi, the biggest dancehall artist for 2023, Byron Messiah, alongside Skinny Fabulous, Jadelle, Earth and Owls, Mr. Warming Up Adam O, and Lyrica.
the Belize International Music and Food Festival 2.0, July 29th and 30th. Come savor the rhythm as we pair music with the best of Belizean cuisine. Sponsors are Belize Tourism Board, Belican, Niche, Pop, ICB, Wine Smith, eCash, Dolphin Production, DigiWallet, Channel 5, Love FM, Creme Radio, Channel 7, Vibes Radio, Fiesta FM, and OYE Radio.
I think that 27 drop tonight, huh? But you think so? Tonight I think that 24.
Now Belize, you have rice and beans, chips and dip, bolido, and son de la tre. Bolido, that is part of our national identity. And as much as most of we may enjoy it here and there, the bottom line is, one company had 100% ownership of it. And nothing wrong with owning a business, you know. But when it comes to we Bolido, you can't own that and be transparent. You can't report on winnings and sales when you feel like. You can't audit the machine when you feel like. And you definitely can't hide the records under your mattress. But no, that Bolido and Sunday Latch will be for we again. We will be able to enjoy the excitement and profits of it. And that's a double win for us.
The San Pedro Tiger Sharks are the 3-time elite basketball champions. And now they're on a mission to win number 4.
They're playing basketball.
All around.
Game 2 of the Best of 5 series tips off at the Belize Civic Center this Sunday afternoon at 3:30, where your 3-time elite basketball champions, San Pedro Tiger Sharks, led by the dynamic Kyle Stewart, Francis 90 Arana, and Jihad Wright, going up against their nemesis, the Venice Belize Hurricane, led by Victor Evans, Clancy Coupe Lopez, and Chris Fraser, in a showdown where you never ever doubt the heart of a champion.
They all walk like a champion, talk like a champion.
Game 2 of the Best of 5 series is going to be an all-out war. Sharks is not backing, and this is a game you don't want to miss. Bring out the entire family this Sunday afternoon, June 25, at the Belize Civic Center, starting at 3:30 p.m. Tiger Sharks versus Hurricane.
Tell them what is Tiger Sharks with a confident win again.
Sponsors: Maya Island Air, Joseph and Taylor, Westrat, Tough Enough Tours, Panda Joyride Boat, and Sandy Points Limited.
Can't stop in our place. Yo, we're tough enough.
The 2023 Atlantic hurricane season is underway. While we have been fortunate thus far not to be affected by adverse weather, tonight's episode of Belize on Real looks back at the harrowing experience of Hurricane Hattie in 1961 and the devastating loss in its wake. The story of Reverend Otto Wade may not be familiar to many, but it's a gripping account of how he lost his mother and 5 siblings to the natural disaster. The horrifying tale is also the subject of a recently published book written by Jennifer Woods Cadle. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
The burgeoning island destination that is modern-day Caye Caulker is a far cry from what it was after being ravaged by one of the strongest and deadliest tropical cyclones to hit the colony of British Honduras in October 1961. At 10 years old, Otto Wade's life as an islander suddenly upended.
When the lightning flashed, one could see the forms, the coconut trees and things like that. And so I swam towards them gradually. The rain was as if though it's sand that was hitting you. And I remember that the sea was warm, so you were glad when the sea came over you because at least the rain wasn't pelting you. I went and held on to the coconut tree and kept going higher as was necessary and held on there from like maybe midnight, 1 o'clock, somewhere there, until morning broke and you could see what was happening around.
That image is captured in an illustration on the cover of a book written by Wade's niece. The story of how he lost his mother and 5 siblings to Hurricane Hattie and how he later found God through the Methodist faith is fascinating.
Growing up as a child, we would sit with our mom and she would be talking to us about this incident whereby she had lost her 4 aunts, a brother, her 4 sisters, a brother, and her mom in a Hattie hurricane. And I remember one specific time I had asked her if she had ever spoken, she and her brother, about Hattie, if they had sat together, and she said no, they never did speak about it.
The tragedy that befell Wade's family during the Category 5 storm was unspeakable. For many years, the events of that fateful night on Key Cocker were resigned to his memory. Wade, now a retired pastor, vividly recounts what happened the morning after.
My father came around. He had survived, but he said that he had held on to 2 of my sisters, but couldn't hold them all that long, and finally he had to let them go. And that's when I asked about my mom, and he said that she has passed away. She's dead.
My God, the Tree and Me is catharsis for Wade and his surviving family. The book is an emotional release after decades of repressing the anger, hurt, and emptiness of grief.
It was sad, truly sad. It tugged at my heart. It brought a tear to my eyes.
Jennifer Woods Cadle, a retired educator, was inspired to tell her uncle's story and set out to publish her first literary work.
That was when I think I had the first inspiration that this story needs to be told, because it's something that obviously traumatized them because the way their life took the path that they took, and they needed to release this. And so I took it on me to write this story.
Regrettably, counseling for the kind of trauma that Reverend Wade endured as a child was not available in colonial Belize. He had to live through the anguish and seek solace in the church.
In that kind of situation, you don't have the therapy and things like that that is afforded these days when children go through that kind of trials and tribulations. But the pastors were good. There was one particular one that I am always grateful for, because having then gotten back into schooling, because for months after the hurricane there was no schooling. I was then in Dangriga and was able to go back and get back into schooling. But by the time it reached the point of going to high school, my grandmother didn't have the $8, it was then $8 to go to Stan Creek High.
I rejoice that Almighty God knows somebody named Otto Wade.
But he would also overcome that obstacle, educate himself, and go on to become a pillar in the Methodist Church. Reverend Wade lost his family to the devastating storm. Today, he is comforted by photos of his loved ones.
The memories, the family is everything. I think about my mom not having, and even my uncle, not having pictures of their mom and their siblings. And when we're not physically able to hold, pictures can bring back the memories. And so, yeah, this is why we have all these pictures around family.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Today on the parade square at the National Police Training Academy, 145 recruits from squad number 96 officially became police officers ready for deployment to their respective posts across the country. The aim is to increase the department to about 2,500 officers. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
102 men and 43 women stood proudly in the sweltering heat in Belmopan as they officially made it to the rank and file of the Belize Police Department. These new police officers successfully completed 7 months of intense training that began back in November of last year.
150 men and women left their friends, families, and loved ones behind to embark on a 7-month journey in hope of becoming a police officer. Recruit police training is the transformation of a civilian into an effective police officer, which makes it a very intense and compact process.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams says that majority of these officers will be deployed to the northern districts, with Eastern Division getting the least.
Those officers are now a part of the rank of the Belize Police Department, and we anticipate that with the injection of this new squad into our ranks, that we'll be able to cover more grounds in terms of providing citizen security to our people. They have been distributed across the country, with the northern districts getting the majority of them, followed by the west, the south, and the eastern region getting the least, which is not normally the case. But again, we have seen that there is a call or a cry for police officers in different parts of the country. We have expanded in certain areas, and this squad, as much as it will not give us the amount of officers we need to carry out our expansion, it gives us that start that we need, and we're hoping that with the next squad, Squad 97, we'll be able to carry out our expansion in its entirety.
During his address today, Home Affairs Minister Karim Musa says that these officers are taught to rethink how they view themselves and the way they carry out their duties.
We have revised the curriculum, we have revised the criteria for you to become a police officer, and so far we have not had any complaints from Squad 95, and we're looking forward to likewise exemplary performance from this particular squad. As you saw, we even issued an award for human rights. Success in their human rights courses that they took. And so there's a new revised curriculum that we've been working with over the last 2 or 3 years with Dr. Priscilla Brown as the Dean of the Academy. And it is excellent performance so far, and we look forward to greater things from both Squad 95 and 96. It's not just about respecting human rights, it's about restoring the confidence and trust that the Belizean people have in the police department. That is something, that is a pillar that we have been working on since we came into office in 2020, and that is something that we continue to drive home because at the end of the day, it's not limited to 2,200 police officers. There are 390,000 law-abiding citizens who can help those 2,200 officers in the fight against crime.
But is it hard to increase and retain police officers? Compol Chester Williams explains that the goal is to reach 2,600 police officers by the end of the year.
Those officers who are not able to keep up with the trend or where we want to go, then certainly we have to part ways with them. But apart from dismissals, we do have a high attrition rate of resignation, persons who are retiring, persons going off medically unfit, etc. So the numbers are really hard to maintain. We're trying to reach at least 2,600 by the end of this year, but I doubt we'll be able to achieve that. Squad 97 should be 250, so it's going to be bigger than this one. And we believe that with that squad, it will put us close to the 2,600 number that we're trying to reach at this time.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
When we return, what happened to court witness Iran Basco Jones?
HRCU is thrilled to announce the launch of our new online banking services designed to put you in control of your financial future. To take advantage of our new services, you will need to know your updated 16-digit account number. You'll enjoy 24/7 access to your accounts, send and receive payments to other credit unions and banks effortlessly, pay your bills online with ease. Need to make a loan payment? Done from the comfort of your own home. Have your government benefits deposited directly into your account, hassle-free. Applying for a loan? Easy. Apply online with just a few clicks. And don't worry, we'll be here to guide you through the transition every step of the way. Visit hrcubelize.org for more details on our exciting new online banking services. HRCU, making a difference in people's lives.
I went to BL's Facebook and Instagram page and as well their website.
I found on their website information on how they determine electricity rates and how they calculate that. The BL High School Energy Challenge helped me to further my knowledge in these topics.
Shows me their interest in science, but beyond that, it's thinking outside of the box. You know, they're thinking about energy not just in their homes, but for us as a country, as a nation.
I learned a lot about like renewable energy and where Belize gets its energy from.
I'm really glad that I got a laptop from Belize because I'm taking CIS in 6th form, so I truly need it.
We are very happy that this is the second year we are getting a cash prize from BL because of our students' excellent performance.
I would like to say that BL should continue with giving these competitions because these prizes are needed by many people.
I applaud BL's effort because to see a company give back to the community, especially through young people, that is something that definitely needs to be applauded, and I look forward to even more of these competitions and to see our kids continue to excel in them.
Minister Francis Fonseca, at the House meeting on Friday, you told the nation of Belize that because the definitive agreement was a potential legal liability, it had to be brought to Cabinet for discussion and review. Minister Fonseca, you know that is a lie. The Cabinet memorandum did not have a single word about any potential legal liability if the Cabinet did not approve it. Not a single word about any legal opinion. Minister Fonseca, you know that the purpose of the Cabinet memorandum presented by Minister Chris Coy on behalf of the Prime Minister John Briceño was to inform the Cabinet of Portico's progress and to seek Cabinet's approval for the dirty fiscal incentives. Instead of explaining to Cabinet that the dirty tax giveaways represented a gang rape of Belize's taxpayers by GEG and Royal Caribbean, the paper sang Portico's praises. Minister Fonseca, why did you stand up in Parliament and lie to us about the true purpose of bringing the definitive agreement to Cabinet? Lies. Damn lies.
Explore the great outdoors with Benny's Quality and Savings.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
This no good for nothing.
Prime Minister, why all this scenery? Even as an empty and meaningless gesture, that's only what your cabinet and the entire nation has been saying for almost a month now. But what about the environmental approval that allows Portico to dredge just north of a protected area? Or build an artificial peninsula right next to a manatee reserve? Or dock Oasis-class cruise ships right in the middle of a manatee corridor? PM, you pushed to get the definitive agreement passed in the House. You went so far as to lie that the Port Authority had granted Portico a permit. Your cabinet paper urged ministers to support the legislation. PM, it's too late to pretend you were ever on the side of Belize and Belizeans. PUP for Portico, for the privileged, never for the people.
We will not be bullied.
The family of a man who was a witness in a murder trial is worried that he might have become the victim of foul play after he testified in court over a week ago. 30-year-old Iran Basco Jones had just relocated to Hattieville after he had shown up to court to testify in a trial for the 2018 murder of Bowen & Bowen employee Sean Menzies. Charlene Gonzalez told us that her son went out to buy food in the village last Tuesday night and never returned home. The information that the family has been receiving since then has been horrid, and all they want is information leading to his whereabouts.
We didn't know that he was a witness to a murder trial. He didn't tell you? No, ma'am, because he didn't live here with me. He didn't mention anything about a trial. All I know, one Tuesday, no, it was a Saturday, excuse me, some police officer came here to look for him, to hand him a summons. And they wanted me to receive the summons, and I was asking them what was it about. And they said it was pertaining to my son to show up to court on Monday. They asked me if I will receive the summons. I told them no. I thought it was something that simple, nothing but no murder trial. That never even crossed my mind. I know sometimes he have problem with other people out there, so I was thinking. I said, oh well, maybe he harassed somebody, and they took him to court. After the trial had finished, he was to relocate because he was feared for his life. She called me on the Wednesday, and she said to me, Mom, he said, I don't know how to tell you this. I said, what? I said, tell me. He said, your son went Tuesday night to get food and hasn't returned. That's in Hattieville. The Thursday, she came down. I informed her to go and file a police report, and she and my daughter went and did that. After that, Marianne, all hell break loose because bits and pieces start to come into me. I just want closure if they kill her, because you're to hear about John Smith Road, you're to hear that he's dead from half of the street. I can't say anything. I know he's missing, and that's it. And I ask anybody who have any information, if they know that he's dead, they don't have to disclose who they are, just that we could have one proper burial for him. That's all the family is asking for.
So you're asking them to call you?
They can call me, they can call my daughter, because she did an interview. My phone number is 601-3844. Her phone number is 630-5954. They can call her, they can give out, they don't have to state name or anything, just where we can locate him. That's all.
And an inspector of police finds himself facing criminal charges after he is accused of beating a detainee at the Ladyville police station last Friday night. The incident unfolded when the detainee, Aaron Flowers, was at the Ladyville police station, and the officer, Inspector Christopher Martinez, showed up and allegedly beat Flowers in the head. The two have been having a dispute for some months, since Martinez accused Flowers of shooting at his house. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the media that the department is writing to the Security Services Commission for internal charges to be brought against Officer Martinez.
Yes, we are going to write to the Public Service or the Security Services Commission to seek disciplinary charges against him in respect of that matter.
Is he an interdiction? What's the case right now?
That will have to be done by the Services Commission. We are making a request. As soon as that is done, then he goes on interdiction if they agree to put him on interdiction.
Will there be a tribunal?
That is done at the Services Commission level, not at our level. As police officers, and especially at the rank that he holds, we expect better. And if a person is already in police custody, there is no need to use force on that person, regardless of the degree of force, unless the person is restraining, need to be restrained, or something of that sort. But when it comes to going all the way into a cell block and beat somebody the way how that occurred, we cannot continue such behavior now.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams also commented on the issuance of a gun license and the process by which it is done. He spoke specific to 2 cases where he revoked the licenses. In the case of Marybeth Wade, where her document fraudulently ended up being signed and was revoked 1 month later. And then in the case of another who he confessed he was forced to give a license to under the previous administration, but earlier this year was able to revoke that license.
Before the elections, I was again asked by Mr. Perry-Fit, and even after the elections, I was asked by him to correct the name. And the truth be told, I refused to correct the name. I'm being honest. I certainly did not want to give him a gun license. Nahera himself had tried to reach out to me through other persons, and I said I am not going to issue it. Nonetheless, he went to an attorney. I'm not going to say which attorney, but he went to one. And the attorney wrote a liar letter, which makes sense because the truth is the Police Act do give the minister the powers to instruct the commissioner in writing. And I got a written instruction from the then minister to issue the license. And so Mr. Banner's letter was to say that the fact that the minister had issued instructions to issue the license and you had issued it just that the name was spelled wrong, you must comply with the law and issue the license. So if not, then he was going to take us to court. So to avoid a court matter, I decided I'm going to accede to the lawyer's request and issue the license. But at the same token, I said to myself, well, I will issue, but I'm going to monitor him very closely because as he slipped, I will take it away. And it so happened he got the gun license, and in 2023, I think this year, he got married, and at his wedding, he took out his gun and he fired multiple shots in the air. I got the video of it, and he was arrested and charged. He went before the court. He pled guilty, and the court confiscated his firearm, and I revoked the gun license. The first vetting that came with Marybeth's application certainly was not done by the officers whose name appeared as a vetting officer.
How do you know that?
I did not know that at that specific time when the license was approved. As I said before, someone who saw her with the gun and know the type of person she is informed me of who she was. And based on that, I then went and I retrieved back her file. I looked at it again. And I could have seen why I approved the license, because the vetting was impeccable. I asked him to re-vet Marybeth, and he re-vetted her, and he sent the new vetting to me, which he did. And the vetting that he did mirrored what he said about Marybeth and what other persons had said about her. Based on that, I told him to go and search her home, take away the gun, and I revoked the license. So for you to say...
he wasn't... How do you know he was not misspeaking or he wasn't lying?
We investigated the matter, and there was nothing to show that he was lying.
The leader of the opposition has called for a moratorium on the issuance of gun licenses, claiming that questionable characters have been getting gun licenses. Many are of the opinion, and these recent cases are suggesting that the process of vetting and approving gun licenses has gaps. Some say it's who has the money. Today, Home Affairs Minister Karim Musa was also asked about the system and if he would support an independent audit of the gun license registry. In fact, Minister Musa says that he is looking at introducing a gun reform system.
we are in the process of introducing, firstly to cabinet and then by way of legislation, an entire gun reform system. And so that is forthcoming, and included in that has to be an audit. In terms of who will do that audit at this point, we don't know yet, but I agree with you that that is something that should be done.
Independent outside of the police department, though?
In terms of keeping it classified, though, because that is very personal information, I have no problem with an outsider from civil society looking at it, but there has to be a level of confidentiality because it's individuals' private, personal business. But I agree with you, having an independent person look at it would be good.
Did the commissioner act wrongly when he encountered a fraudulent vetting of Mayor Beth Wade, yet looked wrong and said, you do it because it has your name, and the guy said, "Don't know me, boss." All right, the band plays on, let's continue, nothing to find here, let's go on. Was that wrong?
No, had the commissioner, upon learning that the vetting was fraudulent, allowed the individual to keep her license, then I would say that that is fraudulent. But the commissioner revoked it upon learning that, I believe 1 month after, something like that.
Right.
1 month after learning that the vetting was fraudulent, that particular license was cancelled. And so I don't see any fraud being committed there. It is a matter of what the commissioner knew at the time of being presented with that vetting, which we now know to be fraudulent. But as I understand it, the commissioner has already initiated an investigation into that particular file and others, because I understand the individual claims that there may be 5 others. So if we can certainly look over those 5 to see if a similar type fraudulent vetting was done, then the chips have to fall where they may in terms of whichever officer it was that actually produced that fraudulent vetting.
Up next, relevant parties to revamping of Belizean Studies curriculum recognized.
Minister Cordell Hyde, the Watlis Portico project can only proceed if you as Minister of Lands grant permits for Mr. Geg and Mr. Gulab to use the seabed to create land for their artificial peninsula. In fact, Portico should never have received EIA clearance without these permits. Tell us, Minister, have you already granted these permits for Mr. Geg and Mr. Gulab to build their monstrous artificial peninsula endangering the manatees? Minister Hyde, will you grant these permits? Seriously, Minister, what real benefits will this bring to the South Side?
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, The George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Minister Francis Fonseca. At the House meeting on Friday, you told the nation of Belize that because the definitive agreement was a potential legal liability, it had to be brought to Cabinet for discussion and review. Minister Fonseca, you know that is a lie. The Cabinet memorandum did not have a single word about any potential legal liability if the Cabinet did not approve it. Not a single word about any legal opinion. Minister Fonseca, you know that the purpose of the Cabinet memorandum presented by Minister Chris Coy on behalf of the Prime Minister John Briceño was to inform the Cabinet of Portico's progress and to seek Cabinet's approval for the dirty fiscal incentives. Instead of explaining to Cabinet that the dirty tax giveaways represented a gang rape of Belize's taxpayers by GEG and Royal Caribbean, the paper sang Portico's praises. Minister Fonseca, why did you stand up in Parliament and lie to us about the true purpose of bringing the definitive agreement to Cabinet? Lies. Damn lies.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
My name is Wilmer De La Rosa from Santa Elena Town. I am currently a student at Cayo, set for employment training. Enrolled in the electrical installation program. In late July 2021, I got a confirmation that I was a successful applicant and would be granted a scholarship from Social Security Board. It was one of the proudest moments for me. I felt very excited to start this new path in my life. So far on my journey as a Social Security Board scholar, my vocational technical scholarship has assisted me in achieving my life goals in so many ways. For one, it has renewed sense of purpose, another chance at professional development, and a start at a new career. This opportunity has paved the way for me to excel in life as an individual and as a member of society. Great things are coming after I graduate from SET. I can promise you that. Applying for a vocational technical scholarship through the Social Security Board is simple and easy. I would advise young people in need to apply. It is possible to create a fulfilling and fruitful life with a Social Security scholarship. Believe in yourself and your abilities and skills. I always say the key is to always keep an open mind and let your determination be your motivation.
This morning, teachers, subject specialists, and agencies that have been involved in the development of the current Belizean Studies curriculum were recognized during a ceremony at the House of Culture in Belize City. The Ministry of Education introduced the syllabus to high schools in 2018, and those who spearheaded the project say that it was well received among their students, presumably because it is far more engaging with the use of internet-based technology. News 5's Marion Ali stopped by the ceremony. Here's that report.
It has been 5 years since the Belizean Studies curriculum
was revamped to be more engaging and more technology and internet-based. Now, it has been seen to improve the interaction and the learning process of the high school students who take the course, and that has been attributed to the teachers' pedagogical abilities.
The teachers understand, the teachers of Belizean Studies understand what competency-based education is, and so it hasn't been such a huge transition or a huge change for them. They understand that when you're teaching, it's not just about teaching what are words on the paper, that you're able to work with the students in different ways, taking them places, showing them different things, getting students to engage with the actual subject matter so that the learning comes to life.
Yasser Musa, a teacher at St. John's College, started his own pilot curriculum on Belizean Studies long before the national one was introduced.
In 2013, I was part of a small team at St. John's College, led by our headmaster at the time, Yolanda Gongora, and young teachers, Delmer Zib and Carlos Quiros, where we started to write our own curriculum in a very experimental, almost like a jazz improvisational way, with the focus on the teaching of African and Maya history as the foundation, the root lines of what we wanted to achieve. And it is still at the beginning because we come from a long history, a long background that I call that we have to decolonize in our way of teaching in our school system. And there is a huge change happening to the world right now in terms of how we access information with artificial intelligence. It is a situation, you might say, well, what does that have to do with decolonization? It has a lot to do with it because each country is struggling with how it teaches its citizens, especially its young citizens, who they are, what they are about, where they came from.
Both Musa and his counterpart from Corozal, Cindy Vargas, agree that incorporating more technology into the curriculum has yielded more interesting classes for their students.
Okay.
We do incorporate a lot of technology and different techniques into the subject already.
How have they received it?
Well, I can talk about my students. My students do enjoy my sessions. I know at our institution, our students look forward to Belizean Studies because it is such a fun and, student-centered subject because they do a lot in Belizean Studies. Like it is geared towards them doing more than, we just talking a lot, so we engage them a lot in Belizean Studies.
But even though the efforts since 2018 have been successful in moving students from one platform of learning to another, Chief Executive Officer at the Ministry of Education, Diane Mahia, says there is a continuous effort of tweaking it so that Belizean Studies remains relevant in the classroom.
As we move into a world where technology, artificial intelligence become more and more a part of what we do, if we're not going to be left behind, we have to continue to write our story. We have to make sure that the story that is written is accurate, that it's relevant, that it's something that students have access to, and that's the sort of work that keeps us going with Belizean Studies, right?
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.